Alrighty, guys. Good morning, everyone. My name is Natalia Razavon. I'm a tech integrator at Racine Unify. I'm a tech integrator for elementary schools, the B Center, and Mitchell campus. Today, for this session, I have the pleasure to have Julia FG, another awesome tech integrator. Julia, do you want to introduce yourself?
Good morning. My name is Julia, and I am a tech integrator at Knapp, Gifford, Westridge, Giese, and Schulte.
Awesome. So we are about to start this session. We actually, Julia and I work for this session for the early learners. We know that Google Classroom is an application that is very usable for everybody, but sometimes it may seem like you can use it only with the older kids. So today we're going to start showing you a little like tricks and things that maybe you can use with your younger students. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to present my screen and show you guys how you actually start your Google Classroom. And I know that a lot of you already started, but I just want to review really quick, go through the process. So the easiest way when we are in Racine Unify is going through the class link. We know that the class link applications have the Google Apps right here in the middle. And then when we go here, we're going to find Google Classroom. So this is the way that you will join Google Classroom, one of the multiple ways, not the only one. Because remember that if you have a Google application open, you actually can come here to the waffle. If you have in your Gmail or if you are on any other application calendar, you actually click there and then it's going to take you to all the applications right here, including your Google Classroom. All right, so really quick, remember if you haven't created your Google Classroom already, you're gonna find this plus right here to create or join a class. That's how you're gonna do it. I already have my class created right here. So I have it right here. I just a few reviews, like you learn all this in Google Classroom 1 and Google Classroom Advanced, but just a quick review. So we have here the class already created. Something that I want to remind everybody is like when we are going to the people tab right here on the top, the third tab, you can invite other co-teachers. You can invite your administrator in this case. You can invite your instructional coach to be part of the class. Something that I want to point out here I have my students. I have students that already have joined in. Today, Julia actually is going to be acting as a student. So I asked Julia to please no accept the invitation until we actually were here, because today we want to give you like a view of the student. How does the students will be able to see this Google Classroom at home? So I have two students here who already accepted the invitation. I know Julia didn't because it's graded and it says it's still invited. Now, I want to point out a couple of differences here on the email guardians. Eli Razavon, I just want to clarify these two are my own personal children. Eli Razavon already has an account linked to his name, and I'm going to tell you why. His actual original teacher linked our accounts. She invited us to be part of the classroom. And when you link a student with a guardian, every time someone create a classroom, those emails going to be linked. Now, remember that when you are inviting a guardian to your classroom, doesn't mean that the guardian will be able to see the classroom. It's more like, again, just linking the address and easy access to email all the guardians, but that doesn't mean that those parents will be able to see the actual classroom. As you can see here, Julia doesn't have the 3 dots. And it's so funny because in one of my previous classes this week, someone was asking me, what are those 3 dots called? And I say the 3 dots. But I actually went into more deep because I always like to find the truth. And they are called vertical ellipses. So if you ever heard that it's going to be one of your tier 3 words in Google, your vertical ellipses. But for now, we're just going to call it the dots. So here on the dots, you can do several things. You can email the student, the guardian, invite guardians. So let's say that in this case, Eli has both guardians linking his father and myself. But he also, you can link as many guardians. Remember that these guardians need to be from the Infinite Campus. So just a quick reminder. So how we will join, how we will communicate this, how people will know that we have created a class. That's going to be your personal choice. That's the reason I think this part became really handy. If I have emails for all my students, I can actually just click right there and it will take me from my classroom directly through my email. And in my email, it will create the list. Like if I have 20,000 students, there will be all the email of the guardians will be right here, and there will be BCC. That is the best part. And you can say, good morning, I just want to let you know that I invite your child to be part of my classroom. Something to remember, especially with the little ones, is that your parents won't be able to be part of the classroom if they are not using the student's account. So something that you need to remember that is important if the parents don't know is you need to share the S number and the passwords for them to be able. At the end of this session, Julie and I will be sending you resources, and we will be sending you also videos that you can share with your parents on how to share that information. So very good, I already covered that. Julia, do you want me to start with the show them how the class will work, and then you will join in the meantime?
Sure, I'll join behind the scenes right now.
Okay. We also, Julia, go ahead. You want to say something?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. So right now I go to my classwork. I always tell people, always please join your classroom, usually open on the stream, but make sure that you actually have the habit to go into classwork. Classwork is going to keep you more organized. It's going to keep all your information in one place. So we are right here. I already create a topic and I already create an activity, and I already share it with my students. So when I click there, if I click right here, I'm going to see the activity that I share with my students. As you can see, something very simple. I want just my students to drag the figures, and it can be interpreted any way you want to, unless you have clear instructions and expectations. So here, the kids can move it based on color, based on shape, whatever you feel, and they have multiple slides right here. I want to point out that this activity, I got it as a template from a very good teacher that is specialized for early learners. I'm going to be sharing also her information. Her name is Christine Pinto. I believe she's from Texas or somewhere on the warmer side of the country. So I can see that. As you can see here, it seems like I assigned it to 3 students and no one has it turned it in. This is very common because we haven't teach our students to turn in assignments. That can be maybe one of the goals for the fall. At this point, you can see that I have my 3 students here, and you actually can see that one of my students have worked on the assignments. How do I know? Look at over here, the picture talk louder than my words. So you can see that these students have worked on the assignments. These other 2 haven't yet. So maybe this student is already done with the activity. The difference is that she didn't turn it in. You can also see that I have my students here on the side. So with Google, there are always multiple ways that you actually can do this stuff. So please do not get stuck on doing one way. I can access her work either through here, or I can access her work through here as well. So in this case, I'm just going to click on her name, and it's going to take me to the activity. I want to tell you, guys, that remember that Google Classroom is a streamlines the process for sharing the files when we are sharing with our students. Unfortunately, Google Classroom is not a place where I can start interacting one-on-one with the kids, but you can send them activities where they can interact. So I want to show you a couple differences. I acted as my daughter, and I grabbed one of my smart devices to work on this activity. So something also that I want to let you know is that you don't know what devices the students are using at home. Sometimes, based on the devices, the features of Google Classrooms and the activities will behave differently. So we don't know what they are using. Also, something that I want to point out and is very important is no matter what kind of activity, students and younger kids always need to use technology under the supervision of adults. So they will never be totally independent, no matter what activity it is. They're going to have some kind of guidance, some kind of instruction. So we cannot pretend just to put activities on the Google Classroom and expect a 3-year-old to do it by themselves. So just to clarify, even when we are in the classroom, we are not expecting our 3 and 4-year-olds to be working independently by themselves on the table. They're always going to need our guidance. And in this case, they're going to need the guidance of some adult in the home. So again, I grabbed this activity. I was pretending to be my daughter, and I use a smart device. To be clear, I use an iPad. So when I open this activity, Google Classroom behaved a little weird. Why? Because I didn't have the option to move the shapes to the presentation. So I wasn't able to do this when I was doing it on her iPad. Instead, the iPad gave me the option to draw. So I want to show, and every time I draw it, it converted those files in PDF files. And when I was done, I clicked save, and those files were added here as pictures. So you may get different results from different students. The iPad give you colors, give you crayons, different options. So based on what the student is using, you're going to get different results. So in this case, I just want to point this out. I want to show you the student's view. Then I also want to show you that in my iPad, I had downloaded Google Slides. So that's the reason I was able to do that. Now, something to keep in mind, again, we don't know what the students are using at home. I downloaded Google Slides, but when you download Google Slides and you are utilizing a student account, you have to give permission to the district to manage that device. So it sounds a little scary than actually it is. It doesn't mean that the district or Aztec integrators or people in IT is actually like managing the devices of everybody who signed in. But it's just in case that something happened and extreme cases, the district will be able to erase the iPad or the smart device. We have never, have seen something like that, but just in case. But, that's a scary step for the parents. So yeah, so I have my student. It's really cool. I can actually put comments here, but again, kids don't know. Kids that are 3 and 4 don't know how to read. So maybe something for the parents, if you would like. And sometimes they miss those communications. So just for the purpose of what we are living right now in this immediate distance learning that we are living, maybe they are not so aware about this. So maybe, again, can be another goal for the fall. Teach your parents how to read your private comments. So this is my student. I'm going to go back here. I want to go check if any other students have joined my class. Oh, look at that. Julia already joined, and I actually can come here and invite the guardian. When I click right there, I can go to Infinite Campus if I have the parent email and type it right here, send invitation. It will be up to them if they want to join that class. I'm going to go back to that activity. I'm going to go back through here. I'm going to go to classwork. I can go right here. Julia, are you working on the activity right now?
I opened it up. You just might need to refresh it.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Thank you. And I just asked Julia about that because something really cool that you actually can see is that sometimes when the students are working live and then clicking on it, I can see my students. Oh, look at that. If I come here to the corner, I can see that Julia's working on it. So again, out of luck, you may see your child, like your students, working at home with this. Look at that. Julia is working. This is something that we want to point out maybe for the fall as well. It can be a classroom management technique. Why? Because you can put the children to work in the computers or a corner, and you actually can see what they are doing from your computer. So when a kid is working in your computer and maybe you have a couple working next to you, you still can see what the other ones are doing. So this is a great technique for you guys to see in classroom management. And sometimes, who knows, you may be lucky enough to see that with the students at home. So that's a cool thing to remember. Now, what am I going to do is I'm going to create, Julia, you wanna? Yep, no, Julia already do that. So now I'm going to show you. Thank you, Julia. And then what am I going to do is I'm actually going to go and I'm going to create more assignments. And this is the part that we want to point out to you, especially again with the younger kids, what kind of things we can share with them. So again, Google Classroom give me different options, different possibilities. I'm gonna start with the easiest thing to do. Share a material with your students. So when I'm sharing a material, I'm talking about something that the kids are not really interacting or changing, just like that Google slide. And again, for smaller kids, we would like to use something like Google Slides because it will allow you to interact better than a Google document or like a PDF that you actually cannot interact with the document at all in a PDF. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a website. I know that some of you really like ABC, yep. And I'm going to come to my Omnibox on a separate tab, and I'm going to type ABCya. And I know obviously you guys are going to say, Natalia, it's abcya.com. Thank you. But in this case, something that you can do is like maybe you want to be a little more specific. Maybe every week you want to change the link to ABCya and work in different things. So for example, today I want to work in letters. And it's telling me, pre-K to 1, how ABCya work probably better than me. I can click on a specific activity. So instead of share the ABCya link, I can share the link to a specific activity. So every week or like whenever you want to, you can change the activity for the kids. And it's like a quick, very nice surprise. So I'm going to come here to the top to my URL. I'm going to do Control-C to copy it. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to come to this little clip, paper clip. And I'm going to go to link. So when I click right there, I'm going to do Control-V. And I have the link to my ABCya. So again, you can organize the themes by topic. You can just leave it right there. Share it if you want to individualize, personalize learning. If you want to differentiate, this is the place to go. So let me say, oh, I want this activity maybe for Eli, but then for Isabella, I'm going to go to a different ABCya. Maybe for Julia, I'm going to go to a different ABCya, things like that. So I'm going to say all the students and I'm going to post. So that's the cool thing. You can differentiate based on the student's need. Maybe, Eli needs to work in his letters, but Julia needs to work on her numbers. All right, so here it is, my ABC. The other thing that I would like to share with you, I know a lot of us love to go into Teachers Pay Teachers, right? And we find these awesome activities there that you can purchase and share with the students. So we actually have an activity from Teachers Pay Teachers, and it's about the alphabet. So something that I'm going to do is going to be alphabet clip cards. And I'm going to go to add. I already saved it on my Google Drive. So I'm saving like a little time for before you guys came here. It's not something that I have opened recently, to be honest. So that's the reason you cannot see it right here. So I'm gonna need to go to my drive and drag for it. So if you know the location of your things, it makes it even easier and better. I know I have it exactly under activities, and I have another folder named early learners. So look at that. So right here, I have my alphabet clip. And you may say, oops, sorry, not that. That's not exactly what I wanted to do. I actually need to go to my drive and open it from there because that's exactly what I wanted to show you. My mistake, you guys. Julia, any questions that you want me to answer live, or we are all good?
I think we're good. I'm answering them in the chat.
Perfect. And then I didn't mess up on the student's view, right? You're gonna show it after this, or was it before this?
As soon as you're done with this, we can switch over to the student view.
Awesome, thank you. Just wanna make sure. All right, let me open my activity folder if you wanna open up. There are several ways, and remember, with Google, it's always different ways that you can do stuff. So like if my cards don't want to open up, I can look for it. Let me try again. Right here. Oh, right here, there. Okay, so this is a PDF document. And this document was from Teachers Pay Teachers, as I told you before. Sorry for the delay, you guys. Got it. Oh, maybe not. Got it. So I have it right here. As a PDF, if I share this directly, the way that I just showed you that I did in my classroom, it's not going to work. It's going to be showing the whole activity with my kids, including directions, but the kids won't be able to interact with this. So what is the point? You need to make sure that when you download something from Teachers Pay Teachers, it's not only a PDF file, but it's also like it's giving you an instruction. They also showing you a video how to download this. Some things are downloaded as a PDF only, but look at this. This activity is allowing you to download it in Google Slides. So when something is able to be downloaded in Google Slides, that means that you will be able to interact with this activity. So when I click there, it's prompting me to make a copy. And that copy is going to be automatically saved into your Google Drive. So when I click right there, it's going to be open a Google Slides, and you can see its name, copy of an alphabet clip cards, but this is what is yours already. This is already in your drive. Now it's up to you what you want to do and where you want to put it. Every time you have something, you copy something from someone or download it, you're going to have the star to put it on your favorites, and you're also going to have this folder right here that is prompting you to organize it. Where do you want to put it? So you can actually come here and say, oh, I have an early learners, or I have an alphabet folder, and put it whatever you wish to put it. So in this case, again, I'm gonna go to my activity folder, and I'm probably gonna put it on my early learner folder, since I do teach, from K through 8th. So I'm gonna move it there, and now it's ready for me to actually put it in my Google Classroom. So I'm gonna go to my paper clip. I'm gonna go to my Google Drive. Because I just opened this activity, it's going to be showing on recent. You can see that it's right here. Otherwise, I can go look for it. Now, how do I differentiate which one is the one that I'm gonna share and which one is not? PDF? No, because it's not interactive. It's Google Slides. The Google Slides is the one that I want, this one. So I click right there, and then I add. Sometimes if I double click it, it will automatically add it. Something to be very careful with, and I know you have learned it on the Google classes, in the Google Classroom classes, is that you need to make sure this is changeable. If I put it for the students to view, that's the exact thing that they're going to be able to do, just to be able to see it We want the kids to play with it, interact with it. So I'm going to click right there, and I need to make sure that I'm going to make a copy for each student. Many of us forget this step on daily basis. There are even sometimes when I still do that mistake. So you need to be very careful. Make a copy for each student. Why? If you guys put students can edit the file, you're going to have all your students working on the same assignment. And you're going to be seeing one student, if they're working at the same time, moving it here, the other one over here, and it's going to become a mess. So students can edit the file is something that you actually want all the students to be working on the same kind of piece of paper. Think about like when you are in the classroom and you give one piece of paper to all your students. No one per student. So this one is the one per student. Again, the same thing, you can pick the class. Let's say that you actually, like I have two early learners. Maybe you have a morning and afternoon. I actually can assign it to both of them if you want to, or the three of them, or whatever classes at the same time. The students, again, because of the distance learning, we are doing ungraded. And you can actually put it a topic if you want to. Right now, I'm just going to leave it without a topic, and then I'm going to assign it. So just to make sure that you guys know that, how to make the copy. And now what I'm going to do before actually I go to Julia is I'm going to create another activity. This activity, I got it from this lady that I'm telling you guys that she's super awesome. Her name is Christine Pinto, and I just want to take you to her website for you guys to see what I'm talking about. Again, I'm going to give you the link at the end of this. I will email you guys, all of you, after the end of this session. So just to make sure and clarify. So she has a bunch of pre-made activities. Now, again, like I told you, that students cannot see or work without supervision. Something to take in mind is that you're going to find tons of activities online, things like this. You need to preview these activities and you need to modify them based on your students' need. You cannot just give students whatever without even seeing what is on it. So something that you can do, and I'm going to come here, I click on the activity. She also is giving you like how she uses it with her kids, how is she doing it. And I'm actually, when I downloaded this, because here it says click here for the color template. When I did this, is prompting you to make a copy. I actually modify it. I modify it for the needs of my students. So the way that she's doing it is the kids are going on the web to search for images. I think my 3 years old are not quite able to do that yet. So what I do is like, instead of doing that behind the scenes, I'm going to show you what I did. So I'm going to create that activity and I'm going to name it. It's going to be an assignment because I want the kids to interact with it. And I'm going to name it color words or color activity instead. And then I'm going to go to add. Now, I'm going to show you. Obviously, the one that is going to be showing is the one that I just downloaded from Christine Pinto, but I actually have one that is already modified on my folder. All right, so what I have here is the one that I design, not design, but I base it on hers. So again, I have to change it to make a copy for each student, but I want to show you the difference between hers and mine. In hers, maybe I didn't. In hers, she doesn't have shapes. In mine, I actually added shapes for the kids to move. So what is red? What is orange? What is yellow? So these are a couple of activities that I like. That's when I'm telling you, you need to modify it based on your needs. So I come in here, I'm making a copy for each student. Again, the same things that you guys I explained to you before. You can move it to a topic if you want to, and then you can assign. So those are like 3 quick activities that I assigned for the kids to do. You do not need to like assign like 1,000 activities. Again, it's different things. I assign like a website. I assign something that I bought on Teachers Pay Teachers, and I assign a template of someone that was on the web. So I don't need to reinvent the wheel, but I maybe need to modify that wheel. So what I want to do is I want to move to Julia, because I want Julia to show you guys her student view.
Okay. Here we go. So the first thing that I want to show you is how it would look like for a student to join. So if I was a student and I was getting ready to join Natalia's classroom, I would log in through ClassLink, go to my Google Classroom, and here I would have the invitation from Natalia, and all I would have to do is click on this blue join button. So our suggestion for early learners is to not give them the code. I think the code is a little too complicated. I would simply go to that People tab, type in the names of my students, so that when my students or their guardian log in, all they're going to do is go to Google Classroom right here and click Join. Something else that I want to point out is we get a lot of emails from parents, I'm sure you might too, where they are having difficulty logging into Google Classroom. Although you might instruct them to go in through ClassLink, sometimes their personal Gmail account can interfere with the RUSD Gmail account. If they come to Google Classroom and they say, hey, we don't see Natalia's class, we don't see the join button, here's the key. Tell them to look in the top right corner. There's going to be an avatar like this or an initial. And if they click on that, that will tell them what Google account is working. If it's a parent Google account up here in the right-hand corner, of course, they're not going to have this card and the join button. So you would just want to remind them, make sure you're in the student account with that S number and RUSD password. Then in the top right corner, it should say RUSD student account, and they'll see the join button. Okay, so I clicked on my join button. I'm now in Natalia's classroom called Early Learners, and I want to go to this classwork tab as the student. This is where I'm going to see my work that Natalia has assigned to me. So here are all of the activities that she assigned. And I'm going to start by opening up the color activity. All my student has to do is click on the name. And remember, Natalia chose to make a copy for each student. When she did that, Google Classroom gave me my own copy of the slide, and it even put my name on it. So it says, Julia, copy of color words. All the student needs to do is click on this right here. And now you'll notice in a new tab in my browser, I now have the activity. So like Natalia was saying, she added these images over here for the students to sort. As the student, I'm going to click and drag my images over that are red. I could go over here on the side and choose a new slide. Here I'm on the orange slide and do the same thing. Click and drag those matching images over for the specific color. Now, let's say I'm the student and I'm all done working on this activity. I can just stop and leave it as is. I don't need to hit the share button. I don't need to do anything else here on this page. Back in my Google Classroom, I don't even need to click in the turn in button. You don't need to have your students turn in, because once they hit that turn in button, they're going to lose their edit access. That means if I turn it in, it's going to prompt me, do you want to turn it in? Now, if I try to open up this Google Slides presentation, do you see how it says view only? I can no longer click these images or edit this file because I hit turn in. So my suggestion when working with early learners, don't even worry about that turn in button. Like I said before, just have them work on the activity and then close it out. Just leave it as is. Okay, Natalia, I'm just going to show them real quick how that alphabet clip card activity looks for the student side.
Yes, please.
So I'm going to click on classwork at the top. Here's my alphabet clip cards. I want to click on that title. I can click on the file right here, or I could click view assignment. Either way. Again, it has that file with my name on it. So I'm going to click on this clip card. And here it's going to open up the activity for me. Again, Google Slides is great for click and drag activities for early learners. As a student, I would choose this clip and then drag it on top of the matching letter for that picture. When I'm all done, I can just simply click on the X to close this tab and go back to my Google Classroom. The last thing I think I want to show you is how that link to a website works. Natalia has great ideas by using those website links, going to a specific part of ABCA. So I'm going to click on that name, ABCA. And here, the students are actually going to see like this image that's a preview of the website. All I have to do as a student is click on this. Again, it opens a new tab. And here I was brought to ABCA's website for the game Letter Bubble. Using that website shortcut is so much easier for our early learners rather than having to click on a bookmark here at the top or typing it in as the teacher. Using the websites in my Google Classroom, that's going to give me a direct link as the student to go to that website. Okay, Natalia, anything else before I switch it over to you?
No, actually, Julia, can you open one of the activities so we can see where those private comments will go?
Sure. So they would have to click on View Assignment. And then here in the bottom right-hand corner would be the private comment from my teacher.
So again, no, we haven't taught this. Honestly, as teachers, we haven't taught this to the kids. We haven't really thought. So it's very hard for us to expect it, a student of a parent to know specifically what we are talking about. So just for a future reference, that's actually where you can put comments. I know Julia and I have talked about like maybe for the fall, teaching you guys how maybe to use non-verbal comments for the kids. And when I say maybe no verbal comments, it's like maybe using emojis. So Julia, would you mind to refresh that just because I just sent you a couple of emojis to share those comments? Oh, look at that. So now Julia can see that I put like a thumbs up, maybe telling her that she did a fantastic job. So just for the future reference, not to be confused at this point, because that's not something that maybe we can use right now, but maybe for the future. Julia, thank you so much for showing us the student view.
You're welcome.
All right, so now I want to show you how to add a couple more things for ideas that I think will be great for early learners. Remember, we are not telling you what to do with your Google Classroom. We are just trying to share a couple ideas. Sometimes it's really hard to say what I can use this application that it seems like more friendly with the older kids than with my own kids. So that's the reason we are trying to do this, just to give you like extra ideas. Another thing that I can do is a couple of weeks ago, a lot of you participate in one of my PDs on how to record read alouds. When we did that activity is not only to record you guys doing books, but you can do any kind of recordings. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create an assignment, and that assignment I believe is about shapes too. But before I go here, I want to show you that I want to modify my assignment. So again, you are interacting between different applications. We are using Google Classroom, we are using Google Slides, and everything that you find may be on your Google Drive. So I'm going to go to my folder for early learners if my Google Drive allow me to open it, because I want to show you that in there, I have a couple activities that I did before this class. So I have all the activities that I want to share with my students. This is the activity that I want to share next, Shapes Everywhere. And I did this activity based on a book that I read on Raz-Kids. So, oh, maybe I want to delete this. For some reason, didn't delete. So this is the activity. The kid's supposed to make something with these shapes. But something that I really want to do is maybe add to here the recording of the book. I did record my read aloud, and I want like to go into one place shop, like go shop to in one place they have everything they need. So this is my read aloud that I recorded about like a book that I read for the kids, about shapes that you find on the city. City shapes, oval, rectangles. So you can see. What shapes do you see? Here you see an oval. And you can play with the book, you can show it. You see triangle. So I have this awesome book, and I say I want to add it to my shape activity. So that's something that I want to do. I'm going to go right here to the top. I'm going to go to insert, and I'm going to be inserting a video because it's a video what I created. So I'm going to click on my video, and I'm not looking on YouTube. I'm going to go to my drive because that's on my drive. And it should be showing on my recent, my drive. Going to go to, again, if I don't remember the name of my book, I actually can come here and see Shapes book. Okay, got it. Shapes book. Shapes book right here. So look at that. It's creating and it's adding my video. I can put it right here on the page. You can do it whatever way. I can also insert directions. I can record myself telling the kids the directions of what I want them to do. So I have it right here. As soon as I have it right there, the way that I want it, I'm going to go to my Google Classroom, Shapes in the City. And then I'm going to go to the Add button, my Google Drive. And here is my activity. So I can click Add. Remember, I'm going to make a copy for each student, making sure that it's not graded because I don't need it. And I'm going to put it under Shapes and assign it. So now my kids are going to be able to receive that activity. Something else that I want to show you is how to add a Jamboard activity. In that lesson, I show you a little bit about Jamboard. Jamboard is a program that is part of Google, and you will find it here on the waffle. The Jamboard is kind of like a whiteboard. The whiteboard where you can actually create activities, so I can do a mini lesson for my students. So what I do is that you will save it the same way, like when you go to the Jamboard, down here is a whiteboard. I can play with it, and my Jamboard activities will be saved to my Google Drive. So again, I can actually create that as a material because it's going to be like a mini lessons about shapes. And the kids can see it. I can also add that video inserted in one of my activities. I want to show you the different ways to do it, and that's the reason I'm inserting it as a material. And I'm going to go to my Google Drive. Obviously, because I didn't open recently, it's not going to be there. It's going to be again on my folder for early learners. I'm going to go to my early learners. Folder, and I have it nowhere to be found. All right, let me go into my drive. That's the reason we always need to find multiple ways to find stuff. I know I put it on my Jamboard shapes. So maybe that's a way that I can actually call it and it will be easy for me to find. Oh, right here it is. So I can actually click and insert it. So when the kids open that mini lesson, you guys will be able to see that I record myself.
All right, today
telling the kids
what shapes has. I'm going to draw one side.
It has pencils for me to draw.
Two sides, three sides, and four sides. How many sides? 1, 2, 3, and 4.
And it can be about
This
anything.
shape is called a square.
And you guys are better at this than I am. So I'm not going to be going any farther on that. You know your content better than I do. So I have it right here. Then I can go to my shape and post it and pose. And here you go. So you have different ways that you can actually utilize your Google Classroom with younger students. So that's pretty much everything that Julia and I have for you today. Julia, are there any specific questions?
I think I'm caught up in the chat.
Okay. Awesome. So after these, I'm going to be sending you guys all the materials, not the materials, the resources for this session. I mean, if you didn't participate on the Read Aloud recording, email me and I will be able to send it to you so you can see how we did it. And so far, this is it. I hope that you guys have found this useful and have learned something new. So thank you so much for participating today. And I will see you guys around and soon.